Brought to you by No Name Nerd, the best place to get customized and stylish gamer jerseys, so you too can look this Mantastic every day. Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Collab that is coming to North America on Friday. So this is a highly anticipated event, not just for nostalgia purposes, but because it actually is home to many powerful cards that are going to help advance the transformation meta. So I have talked about transformational cards in the past, and in summation, transformational cards must be stronger than non-transforming cards because it has to justify the extra step or hurdle you must go through in order to actually unlock their next form. So the main theme here is going to be providing skill boosts and effective skill boosts, basically things like hastes or delays in order to help you achieve that transformational step. Furthermore, it's going to introduce a brand new card, basically the star of the show, Yugi, as the strongest leader currently available in the game. He just does so much. And I'm going to be talking about each card individually, but this will be quite a long video, so if you are hunting for a specific card's commentary, there will be timestamps down below. Regardless of all this, I want to just jump right into the review. So, what are the pros in rolling this event? Well, these cards, all the cards actually have exceptionally high weighted stats because they actually enjoy plus 25% stat growth with Limit Break. So we're seeing cards with 1700 plus weighted stats, which is truly outrageous. Furthermore, every single card, regardless of rarity, actually comes with a weapon assist. As mentioned already, Yugi is this big prize and star of the collab, and many of his key subs for forming his team can actually be acquired here. Furthermore, those same cards can help you prepare for the future transformation meta because I feel like Gung Ho is going to start pushing this metric much more moving forward. Furthermore, because it is a debut event, we can get these cards as soon as they become available to enjoy them at the height of their power, so to speak. Generally speaking, with power creep, cards that basically cards that are buffed or released right now tend to be at their height of their power. So right now, if you get them now, they will benefit you much more moving forward as opposed to like future events, so to speak. And the only real drawback of this event is the fact that it costs 10 magic stones, which means it is a bit more pricey to roll, along with the fact that monster exchanging does have steeper exchange rates. And the following are my ratings for the collab. When you look at the various forms they can offer, icons only show the base form regardless if it is the most powerful one. But remember, as with any ranking or tier list, take those opinions with a grain of salt or as a conversational starting point. Some cards may have more or less value depending on your monster box goals and how you enjoy playing pad. Regardless of all that, let's talk about Yugi and why he is so powerful. So when you roll him, he comes out in this base form, and his active skill is a 20-turn cooldown that will transform him into his superstar evolution. So in his base form, like any transformational card, it is pretty useless. It doesn't do much of anything, like no weighted stats, no multiplier, you're very fragile, but if you can achieve that 20 skill boost, he will transform into what is basically the best leader in the game. And to get those 20 skill boosts, you have 4 subs, a friend's leader because he has asymmetrical pairings, along with 6 inherits, means it should not be too difficult to achieve because many of the lower rarity cards in this event will feature ways to get to that 20 much more easily. So post-transformation, he becomes a stellar card in every single metric. Like, it's hard to find faults at this point in time. Let's look at each component individually. So for their active skill, they change fire, water, and hazards into dark orbs. That's pretty nice. For 2 turns, increase combo count by 2. That is nice. For 2 turns, bypass damage absorption shield effect. So that's a Fujin style active skill. That is very nice. And now this is on a 10-turn cooldown. Whoa! Like, what the fish? This is outrageous. Like, it's so strong. Now, in terms of the leader skill, you disable poison orb effect. So that means poison orbs can still appear, but matching them will not actually cause damage to your team. And that's important because poison resist now does not become a mandatory thing to run, which becomes easier to team build. Furthermore, you have 2 times stats to all devils and 10 times attack when matching 6 or more connecting orbs, which will result in 1 million follow-up attack damage. That seems kind of excessive, and that in itself is actually a damage boost, especially against lower floors that have less health. But Either way, a single Yugi is able to provide 2 times health and recovery along with 20 times damage when matching that row of dark, poison immunity, and auto follow-up attack damage. There's just so many things going on. And in terms of their awakenings, they have massive VDP potential. They have some rows, they have some time extend, and they have skillbind resist, which actually becomes important moving forward. As well as being balanced types, they can use any killer, which means you can customize them for the dungeon at hand. And in terms of cons, I already mentioned that there are 20 skill boosts required. You are restricted to 2 devil types, and he can't actually be limit broken, which means he only has 1,452 weighted stats. The other 7-star cards get to 1,700, but these are still very small things overall. So many of these, so as I mentioned before, like transformation cards have to be stronger. And while Fagan Rai was the first one, it is powerful, but Yugi is just a significant step up. The active skill provides so much value. The leader skill is just the strongest we have currently available. And I want to talk a bit about his team building as well as alternative leader pairings. So you don't have to use double Yugi. You could, but if you are having a tough time hitting skill boosts, bringing someone else who actually has some skill boosts as your leader might make your chances a little bit easier. And as long as they are a dark devil, you're pretty much not going to go wrong. So as a short list that's not necessarily an exhaustive list, the future Godfest exclusive Nair is going to be one of the best options. We have Gandora, we have Tao Ren, we have Halloween Madu, we have Ina, and we have Halloween Bastet. Basically, if you are dark, a devil, and have at least a reasonably synergistic leader skill, you can pair and do wondrous things. It's quite easy. And just to showcase how much stronger his leader skill is individually, Ina, who does have a powerful leader skill and was formerly the best dark auto follow-up attack leader, has basically 1.5 times health recovery, 15 times damage, and 25% damage reduction when above 80%. So even though you don't need the auto follow-up attack damage, pairing together has 3 times health, 3 times recovery. Math is hard, 300 times attack, I think, along with a bit of damage reduction when high health. Pretty strong pairing overall. There are many ways to build your team. And in terms of subs, many of the cards featured in this event are actually great subs. We have Dark Magician, Fortress Dragon, Dark Magician Girl, as well as Bakura, and Yugi's other evolution. There are quite a few options, and as long as you did roll in this collab, it should be a lot easier to actually achieve the transformation you desire. So, one thing that I want to stress is that you should roll here, but if you get 2 Fortress Dragons, bottom rarity card, 1 Dark Magician, 6-star card, those 3 cards together provide you with 19 effective skill boosts when you count hastes and delay. And that means you only need 1 more skill boost from either your sub, leader friend, or any inherit, and you can transform. Pretty gentle team building requirements when you actually roll in this event, so that's something to keep in the back of your mind. You do want to roll here. And as I mentioned before, he does have some drawbacks, but again, it's a relatively small price to pay for such an amazing card. In terms of his other evolution, it provides 4 skill boosts, super blind resist, along with bunch of dark rows. So you can fully block blind attacks, you have much more passive damage, and this active skill is actually quite strong. You remove all you remove all awoken binds, you get top row dark, bottom row light on a fast 10-turn cooldown. This is still quite helpful. And even as a leader, when you match 4 more connected light and dark rows at the same time, it's actually quite a powerful leader, but of course it will definitely be overshadowed. And at the same time, who would you rather use, the best leader or a leader that's good? Going to choose the best leader usually. But one other thing that I want to talk about is that because this is a top rarity card and it's unlikely that you're going to have copious amounts of dupes lying around, if you have a viable alternative leader pairing at this point in time and you do have 1 Yugi, maybe make this evolution. You get the 4 skill boosts, which is helpful, but you have super blind, which can alleviate some team building restrictions as long as having full immunity to poison damage. You only need to really have cloud and tape and you're basically good to go. But you are able to utilize them as a sub and pair with a friend's Yugi to fully capitalize upon this. Of course, you can always choose to reverse this decision in the future, and you don't have to worry about skill ups because there's no skill up material for them. They come max skilled regardless of what other form they are in. So again, that is something just to keep in the back of your mind. You could hold on to them if you want, if you are lacking strong subs, and convert them to the leader form when better options come into your monster box. Finally, the fun doesn't stop there. This weapon assist is also powerful. It features the same strong full awoken bind clear as well as top row to dark, bottom row to light, But it provides you with 4 Dark Rose, so that's massive amounts of passive damage, Tape Resist, and Skillbind Resist. So Skillbind Resist has historically not been a priority because basically every single card comes with it. But we are starting to see heavy skill boost cards lacking Skillbind Resist. And that means if you use 2 cards, like say 2 Fortress Dragons, you have 80% across the team. That could be problematic. With this Inherit, you can correct that. So again, the amount of value this weapon assist brings will vary upon your team composition, but the major drawback is that this would be like the evolution form I prioritize the least compared to the other forms. Again, if you have duplicates, it shouldn't be a problem. It's an amazingly powerful weapon assist, but there's just simply not enough Yugis to go around. Next is Seto Kaiba, and then both their forms have varying value. In their base form, I feel like they have stronger leadership potential because they actually provide you with auto follow-up attack damage when matching 6 or more connected water orbs. So this naturally has synergy with Manaka, but this leader skill is not as strong as it may appear. And that is because, yes, your damage is good, but your effective health is quite low. You only have 50% with one leader here when above 80% health. So any multi-hit is going to shred through your health. And when paired with Manaka, you only have 1.5 times health along with damage reduction when you're high health. And that also means Manaka's 4 times RCV just goes to waste. It's just, you're losing out on a lot of the benefits that Manaka can provide. It still brings you that auto follow-up attack damage, which is valuable. They provide passive damage, they provide time extend, they have VDP potential. They are strong, but I feel like pairing with Velkhana for much higher damage as well as a much stronger damage-oriented card, or even base Manaka can be better. Of course, it does give players options who don't have any of these other cards, and it might be something to keep in mind if you have a strong water box, but lacking a good leader to do so. On the other hand, his evolved form is actually a tremendously powerful damage-oriented sub. He features 777 combo and a VDP through Super Awakenings. And in my opinion, that is the best distribution for offensive awakenings until we reach the next level, so to speak, because you have 8 times personal damage against all spawns when you match orbs, which is important because you can sweep all the trash floors. And when you do need to pierce the void spawns, you have the means to do so with high personal damage. Furthermore, they also come with super poison resist as a natural awakening, and that also means you have an alternative to using Chidori. It will free up sub slots, it will free up inheritance slots. It just makes team building easier. He's combining a lot of strong aspects into one card, and for myself, I personally would prefer to use this over Chidori because 777 combo is 8 times personal damage against all spawns when you're matching normally. Chidori has 10 combo, which is only 5 times. It's harder to achieve. It's just going to be a much stronger universal damage option overall. In terms of the leadership potential, it's basically like an Edward with more damage, but you must connect 6 water orbs. And I say Edward because you have to be above 50% to get damage reduction and damage. When you fall below, things become problematic. It's not going to work so well. In regards to his weapon assist, it is actually quite powerful. You get a skill boost, which helps transformation, team health, team recovery, so added bulk, more healing, as well as 1 whole second of orb movement time, which depending on your team might be incredibly powerful. With that being said, I feel like this weapon assist truly shines best on transformational teams, and again, depending on the types of cards you have in your monster box, this may or may not be powerful, but at the same time, it might be tremendously valuable. So again, the amount of value that this weapon assist provides will be dependent on your monster box, and the 15 turn cooldown is nice because it's a healthy amount that you can work around. If it won't accidentally charge up without you really trying to do so. So it gives you a bit of leeway overall. Next is Yami Marik, and in all honesty, their weapon assist is what truly makes them shine, but I still want to touch upon what they could do in their other forms. So in their base form, they have full poison immunity, which again is useful, but the problem is they don't bring much else to the table. They have some damage with 777 combo and TPA, but damage cards without VDP tend to go to waste because they don't do damage against void spawns, which tend to be the most problematic ones. And essentially, all you're bringing is that poison resist, as well as an active skill, which is reasonable. You can overwrite RCV debuffs, you can get a burst, you also can make dark orbs and hard orbs. Still useful, but is this going to be useful enough to justify a sub slot? it really depends on what you have currently available. And other than that, I feel like it's just not performing as well as I wanted to. Conversely, with their evolved form, they change their kit significantly. They can fully clear bind and awoken binds and gain 1 combo for 2 turns. For 1 turn gain +2 combos. Reasonably helpful generic active skill. As a leader, they're rainbow, and it's just going to be a lot of effort. You need to match 5 or more colors. You get bonus combo count, but you also need to hit high combos. It's a lot of work you need to put in. I feel like it's not as useful. Again, it doesn't have VDP, and again, you really want to have VDP, otherwise this 10 times personal damage really just goes to waste. But it can be utilized as a sub potentially for Yugi for transformation with 3 skill boosts, but again, I feel like there are just stronger options available, and in all honesty, it's really their weapon assist that is what makes them shine. So, the weapon assist provides 1 whole second of orb movement time, cloud resist, skill bind resist, and 6 turns of soft bind clearing, in addition to their active skill providing that same full bind and awoken bind clear and +2 combos for 1 turn. Each component itself may not be super strong, but the fact that all of them are put together makes it a tremendously powerful weapon assist. Furthermore, the active skill tied to it is universally helpful. Every team can benefit from this. If it charges up, it's not the end of the world. It still has useful effects. And like I mentioned before, transformational cards and teams may be lacking lots of resist, like skill bind resist or cloud resist, and this can definitely solve it. Furthermore, that movement time will come in handy, and if for some reason you have subs or cards that are vulnerable to binds, you stick this on someone who's bind immune, it means you're able to match a row of hearts and clear 6 turns of binds. I like having awakenings that can solve problems over active skills, and this weapon assist is solving many problems all at the same time. And if I were to roll one of these guys, I would most likely convert it to the weapon assist because it does so much. And now we come to the 6-star base cards. So the first one is T, hope I'm saying that right, but their active skill is underwhelming. You have a full heal, and then you heal 20% of your maximum health for 3 turns, and then reshuffle a board. It's doing a lot of things, but none of those are truly helpful on a 10-turn cooldown, which means it's going to be difficult to fully take advantage of. You can't inherit something over top of it as easily. But what they do well is that they provide 4 skill boosts. Remember, skill boosts are now important for transformation, as well as copious amounts of team RCV. So it's not necessary. It's an alternative to enhanced heal orbs, and the fact that they do have incredibly high base RCV means they can function as a healing solution, which is definitely important. But what I want to address is that there will be the future Godfest exclusive Fasca, and T can function as a tremendously powerful sub for those teams because they rely on attacker types, and there are not many attacker types, and this can act as the skill boost as well as healing and tape. Now, depending on the pairings or subs you have in the team, the tape may or may not be helpful, but again, having it as naturally available is still beneficial. So it is a reasonably strong card for that purpose. In terms of their weapon assist, it's basically like the 7-star card I just talked about, but with much less components and a much worse active skill. It's okay, but again, how much value will that bring depends on if you need skill bind resist, do you need cloud? Again, cloud resist might be somewhat rare. I don't think there are that many cloud resists at lower rarity cards, so it could potentially be your first cloud resist weapon assist, which in itself has value. Next is Joey Wheeler, and in their both forms, weapon assist and base, they deal 150 times button damage, which might be enough to kill a floor. You get a row of fire and a row of dark orbs. So if you're farming content, you could potentially solve 3 floors of 1 active. That is nice. In terms of their awakenings, they provide 3 skill boosts, double 7, and a lot of L's. So I feel like the L's do go to waste, and this is not to say that cards with lots of L's are bad. Diao Chan is an example of a card of many L's that's still amazing, but they're not providing much else aside from L's. They don't do that much else, and that is problematic because it just definitely eats into their sub potential. So I really want to focus on their weapon assist, which is quite useful. Same active skill, so again, it can be helpful. Inherit that on someone of higher base attack for a bigger button, but you get full bind immunity and that single L. Now, again, most cards tend to be bind immune, but if you are lacking bind immunity on a card, this can be a strong solution, and if it does charge up, mono fire and mono dark teams won't necessarily be disappointed. Furthermore, having one L on your team is actually quite helpful, and in the case where you don't have any Ls on your team, this can definitely be a viable solution, as well as the fact that it helps mono fire and mono dark teams. Next is Mai Valentine, and they have triple physical killer and the ability to use physical killer latents, and they're the only card in the game that can do so. So they can obliterate physical spawns, but again, this is relatively niche. It would be mostly for farming or ranking dungeon setups, but having the best option is obviously helpful. But again, it is still niche and it might just be excessive. We have quite a few other triple physical killer cards out there, so I don't know if this extra level of damage will be necessary, but who knows. Unfortunately, their weapon assist is not that great. It feels old already because it includes follow-up attack. And maybe 2 years ago, this would have been great, but nowadays we have so many more options for follow-up attack along with auto follow-up attack damage leaders that it becomes somewhat redundant to have this. The actual active tied to here is only a 2-turn delay, orb unlock, create 6 hard orbs. It's doing things, but I feel like it's not doing that many things at the same time. Next is Bakura, and this is going to be one of the most unusual and possibly controversial cards in this event because they have the potential to deal stupendously high amounts of damage under very specific circumstances. So their active skill is poisoning all enemies, as well as creating a board of dark, heal, and poison orbs on a very fast cooldown. That's very quick for a full board changer. But again, matching poisons tends to be bad for your health. But in the case here, with the right setup, it can be powerful. They have triple skill boost, so that's nice for transforming. It has the right typing for Yugi. It has super blind immunity, so that Yugi teams have full blind immunity. They are immune to poison damage, which is important here, as well as potentially a card that can deal stupendous amounts of damage. So the way it works is they have 3 poison or blessing awakenings, and each of those increases the chance of poison orbs appearing passively, but at the same time they also gain 2 times personal damage when a poison combo is matched. So with 3 of these awakenings, you now have 8 times personal damage. With their weapon assist, which includes the full bind immunity, which means they can choose VDP as a super awakening, they get another poison or blessing. So now they have 4 poison or blessings, which means they have 16 times personal damage. This is getting ridiculous. And then you have 2 VDPs on top of that. Damage, like so much damage. But you have to remember, you have to match poison orbs. And if you don't have a poison immunity leader like Yugi, you're going to be hurting yourself for quite a high amount. Furthermore, poison orbs take up space on the board, which makes it harder to actually get the orbs you actually want to have. Of course, you can alleviate that problem by utilizing a 7x6 board or just being patient. You may not necessarily need his explosive damage every single turn, and of course, if you have 2 poison orbs, you can wait. Another one should fall down. But what I want to stress is that this is pretty specific. It can be difficult to pull off. You do have a huge damage ceiling potential with a VDP and a poison match, which definitely goes hand in hand with their active skill. But at the same time, how do you have the right setup for this to truly function? And that's why I feel like it can be a little awkward. Maybe I'm undervaluing it. Maybe it might be stronger. It's something new. If I roll them, I'll definitely experiment with it. And it's definitely a card that could be more valuable than I'm giving it credit for. But again, it is quite restrictive, but it can have the potential for amazing damage output. Next is Dark Magician, and I feel that Dark Magician is one of the stars of this collab because they are going to be setting the pace for what transformational leaders or cards want to have on the team because they provide so many effective skill boosts. So their active skill is a 3-turn delay. And delaying means you can match one combo, whatever, and you charge up 3 turns. So that's 3 turns of effective skill boosts. And then they come with 4 skill boosts on their own. So now they have 7 effective skill boosts. But they're not gimping their kit for this. They still have double 7 combo VDP and a big time extend, as well as skill bind resist, which tends to be rare on skill boost oriented cards, and full bind immunity. It's a lot of nice things going on for this card at the same time. And this makes him one of the key / amazing subs for Yugi. And in all honesty, I feel like it will be a strong sub to have moving forward for a wide variety of teams if we start getting more transformational cards. And having a duplicate of this is actually useful because their weapon assist, which I'll explain more in a bit, is actually a tremendously powerful way to add effective skill boost to a given team if Dark Magician should prove to be an inefficient sub to run. Now, that 7 effective skill boost is definitely powerful and amazing without gimping their kit, but it does come with some innate drawbacks. Firstly, the 7 skill boosts can only really be used once. If you have 2 Dark Magicians, you'd only have 11 skill boosts, not effectively 14. And this is because of how delays work. When you delay a monster, they get that status clock symbol, and that means they cannot be delayed anymore until they at least take 1 action. That means 2 Dark Magicians can't be used to bump it up to 6 turns of delay. It doesn't work. You'll have to take a hit. And like I said before, transformational leaders have no effective health in their base form, so that hit will probably kill you. Problem. So you can't use 2 Dark Magicians either as subs or inherits or any combination. Furthermore, if you are just gunning for speed for say ranking dungeons or farming, those 7 these effective skill boosts will be slower. It just won't be as efficient. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But at the same time, this is going to be such a powerful card moving forward, and rolling for this is actually a pretty good idea. And their weapon assist retains the same active skill as before, along with a single skill boost. So that means they can provide 4 effective skill boosts to a different card where Dark Magician could not be used as a sub efficiently. And because it's only a 12-turn cooldown, they can actually be inherited on something of a low active skill count and have it ready in time. So painting a picture for you, I'm going to use Ina as an example. It may not be the best one, but I just want to showcase how it does work. Ina has 1 skill boost naturally. With this weapon assist, she now has 2. Her base skill is 3 turns. So with Dark Magician, it now means you need 15 skill boosts to actually activate her. And that should definitely be doable. So you'd have those 15 skill boosts, and then you get that delay. And now you have effectively up to 18. And then again, you might have other things here and there. So the point of the matter is you're able to add 4 onto a given card. If you do it to something like Horus, who has 3 and a low cooldown, you now have 7 skill boosts. It's a way to add a way to charge up your transformational cards when Dark Magician is not an inappropriate choice. And remember, you can only use 1 Dark Magician or any really 1 delay active for getting effective skill boosts on the first floor, unless you know that first turn they take will not kill you. But the point of the matter is, it is useful to actually have 2 Dark Magicians for this reason. Next is Blue Eyes White Dragon, and their active skill generates 2 columns of light and 2 columns of water orbs plus 2 combo count. Net 10 light, net 10 water orbs definitely helps with VDP. You have bonus combos. It can deal large amounts of damage, and in theory that combo orb could proc. But their main purpose is going to be functioning as a potent VDP solution. They have triple VDP, and they can gain the attack while above 50%, which makes their VDP damage higher or cloud or tape, depending on what you need. But the problem is, I dislike cards that only have VDP damage unless it's a team that utilizes VDP every turn, like Beach Varroa, because if you don't match that 3x3 box, you're not dealing damage with this card, and that's definitely problematic. Something like Kaiba has 777 VDP. He has much more passive damage with every given match, but again, it all depends what you have available. And this is actually an orb skin card, so it is possible for you to purchase them directly and gain this orb skin, and you have a strong VDP option for mono water teams at the same time. But again, I feel like it is a step down from other options available. In terms of their weapon assist, same active skill, but they gain the attack wall above 80% and combo orb. So attack wall 80% has a small window for success, and you only get 1.5 times damage. And we do have quite a few options for it, along with stronger secondary benefits, because a combo orb, I feel, is just underwhelming, because you need 10 to 12 orbs to succeed, which is orb hungry. You're most often better just making a VDP to proc all that bonus damage anyways. It needs less orbs. It's a lot of things you have to do to make it work. And that, with what is already considered a mediocre awakening, may not necessarily be the greatest thing. So I feel like it's just better off as a VDP solution in their base form. And then the last 6-star card in this event is Dark Magician Girl. So she has a short 6-turn cooldown, which is great for inheritance or for just generating 5 light and dark orbs on a regular basis. But they also provide 4 skill boosts and 3 rows of light and dark, as well as 1 second orb movement time. So I dislike the fact that it's 2 different color rows. I guess it gives her flexibility. She can be used on different teams, but for your given team, I don't think you're really going to ever be matching a row of dark and a row of light to truly succeed, so some of it does go to waste. But again, they have the devil typing for Yugi, they have 4 skill boosts, and that can definitely be meaningful. And they do have reasonably strong weighted stats. Like for a 6-star card, 1260 weighted stats is pretty good. But one thing that I want to point out is that Dark Magician Girl is a truly special case because the 5-star Fortress Dragon in this event, their active skill will make them transform into Dark Magician Girl. Now, Fortress Dragon has 6 effective skill boosts, so I would prefer to run Fortress Dragon over Dark Magician Girl. Now, you will get more stats with Dark Magician Girl if you Limit Breaker, because Fortress Dragon cannot, and that represents a 25% increase or decrease, whatever. But the point is you go from like 1,000 for Fortress Dragon, it'll be only 1,000 weighted stats to the 1260. It's kind of small in my opinion, and in all honesty, Fortress Dragon just makes team building easier because of higher effective skill boosts, but more so, the difference aside from the weighted stats is that the type of weapon assist you could make, because you can make Dark Magician Girl's weapon assist if you own her, but you only can make Fortress Dragon's weapon assist if you own Fortress Dragon. Unfortunately, their weapon assist is, in my opinion, okay. It's really just 2 rows. Again, you don't need both colors, but it's 2 rows plus skill bind resist, which again may or may not be helpful. But one thing to keep in mind is that if you have Fortress Dragon or Dark Magician Girl, neither of them have skill bind resist. And if you are relying on them for your skill boost solutions, you will run into problems with skill bind protection. And again, you must plan accordingly for that, because amusingly enough, that is a metric we've basically ignored for the past couple of years, but it's starting to become more relevant as stronger cards or transformational options lack skill bind resist. Next are the 5-star cards, and Gandora provides you 8 times personal damage when below 50% health, which is nice, and 3 team health. So he does provide bulk, he does provide strong damage, but lacks that VDP to truly make it shine. And yes, I guess you could use it on like teams that want to be low health. You get that nice added bulk because health tends to be the most important currency. But without that VDP, depending on your team composition, you may be lacking utility, so to speak. Because, for instance, Zerod Core tends to be a very staple sub on any attack while below 50% team, and they provide stupendous amounts of damage. So basically all they'd be doing here is health, which may or may not be what you actually want. You might want other forms of utility. So I feel like that is the largest stopping point for Gandora to be truly powerful and wonderful. In terms of their weapon assist, they keep the same active skill, which I failed to mention, but they provide 2 team health. So it can be a way to add bulk. There are only 5 weapon assists with that, but again, that's all it's really providing. The active skill gives you a gemstone style princess burst because it gives you 30% bonus based on the team health awakenings you have on your team. But at the same time, how many of those are you really going to have? Probably not enough to make it a relevant burst active. It only lasts for 1 turn. The health cut, again, becomes redundant because Zerod Core should be run every single time anyway. So I just feel like they're in a bit of an awkward place at this point in time. Next is Gaia the Fierce Knight, and they do 100,000 fixed damage or true damage to all enemies, and then you get a column of wood and a column of dark orbs. Sorry, 2 columns of each. So you do generate numerous orbs for that respective color. So again, certain types of teams for farming builds might appreciate that, but the active skill itself is quite long-lasting, and it may not be the type that you actually want to bring. In terms of their awakenings, they have Triple Devil Killer and Super Blind immunity. So having Triple Devil Killer with Devil Killer latents means they can deal high amounts of personal damage to said spawns, but again, the amount of value that brings is really just for ranking dungeons farming, and the super blind resist may or may not actually come in handy, so they're kind of a bit of an awkward card because it only provides one skill boost, which in my opinion can be a little problematic for those types of team setups. In terms of their weapon assist, they provide that underwhelming combo orb along with 2 enhanced Wood Orb Awakening. So some passive damage, but not that much. Not much other secondary effects. I guess the active skill does make Wood Orbs, but you lose the hearts, and Wood doesn't have an auto follow-up attack damage leader, so you won't be able to kill resolve spawns, which in itself will be problematic. Next is Mystic Elf, and in all honesty, they're going to be used probably 9 out of 10 times plus for their weapon assist form, but both forms share the same active skill. You recover 50% of your health, and then you reduce unable to match orb effects by 900,999. But you remove all of those unable to match orb effects. And that can be something valuable because this is a bottom rarity card, and despite the fact that this mechanic is not overtly common, having a solution for it is valuable. And furthermore, their weapon assist provides you with 60% jam resist. And I know I bash jam resist generally speaking. It tends to be my lowest priority in terms of awakenings I want to bring. But if you need this active skill to cancel out these unable to match orb effects, you are bringing alongside of it a beneficial collateral aspect. And if you can get jam resist without compromising more important aspects, more power to you. And again, I feel like Gung Ho likes to either introduce mechanics that have direct active skill counters, and if they continue to do so, this is going to be a valuable weapon assist moving forward. And because it's a bottom rarity card, it should be reasonably easy to acquire, and it's going to be useful to have. There are sexier options available, of course, but again, we have to remember this is a bottom rarity card. It should be easy to acquire. Next is Fortress Dragon. So I've alluded to Fortress Dragon because after using their active skill, they transform into Dark Magician Girl. And what's important about Fortress Dragon is not their triple healer killers, but their 3 skill boosts. And that 3 skill boosts combined with 3 turns of haste makes them an effective 6 skill boost card. That is tremendously powerful. As mentioned before, 2 Fortress Dragons, 1 Dark Magician is 19 effective skill boosts. You're almost at transformation for Yugi. And then, unlike many other possible skill boost cards out there, the fact that they transform into something completely different is important because Dark Magician Girl, if you recall, has a useful active skill. They can make light and dark orbs on a fast 6-turn cooldown. They have some passive damage. They have time extend. It's a lot better compared to what Fortress Dragon was offering. So it's just a step up from other possible skill boost sticks because now you provide so much more and you're the correct typing because Dark Magician Girl is Devil for Yugi. So one other powerful aspect is that this type of effective skill boost stacks. Unlike delays, haste is always helpful, and it also makes it so post-transform, if you had excessive amounts, which probably don't, doesn't matter, but you can at least use, say, Dark Magician, and then double Fortress Dragon. Now your Dark Magician just charged up by 6, so it's a little faster to get to either as Inherit or that delay again if you wanted. But the point of the matter is you can have a skill boost solution card that transforms into something valuable, and I place more value on Fortress Dragon than Dark Magician Girl just because you get those 2 extra skill boosts. Now, in terms of their weapon assist, it's not so great. It provides you with attack well above 80%, along with 2 team RCV. I guess the healing aspect can be nice, but again, if you are playing with transformational leaders, is this really space you can afford to have for a weapon assist? Or even other teams, how important is that? I guess if you're playing teams that really want to make sure they heal enough, it could be helpful, but again, I feel like you're just much better off sticking with Fortress Dragon's base form. And to reiterate, both Fortress Dragon and Dark Magician Girl do not have skill bind resist, so if you are dependent on multiple copies of them for your transformation, you must plan for a weapon inherit to have that skill bind resist. And then finally we come to Kuriboh, and their active skill provides you with +1 combo count for 5 turns, and then 5 turns of reduced damage taken by 30%. Both of those are, I guess, kind of helpful, but for 13 turns, it's quite a long cooldown. It's not that great, but their main appeal is going to be for
possible 7x6 shenanigans, because they provide you with a 7x6 board with reasonably strong multipliers, 10 times attack, 1.5 times stats for wood, not bad. And you also have triple team health, so sizable added bulk, and then 20% resistance to all met for jammer, poison, and blind. Not a bad card to have all around. And again, their main purpose will be utilizing to enter a dungeon, get the 7x6 board, and then leader swap to something more powerful. Now, at this point in time, Wood doesn't really have... Wood's actually in quite a bad spot, in my opinion. I feel like it has the least exciting leaders overall. It's really just Zila Kitty and then Green Ranger. And neither of those are truly special, and neither of them really need the 7x6 board at the same time. So I feel like Kuriboh is kind of just setting up for the future. If Wood gets a great leader in the future, Kuriboh will become much more powerful. But at this point in time, we don't have anyone that can truly take advantage of them right now. But with that being said, their weapon assist comes with an L Awakening, which can be helpful, but then 2 Skillbind resists. And again, if you are relying on lots of Fortress Dragons, you won't have the Skillbind resist coverage needed, and this can definitely be a solution. Furthermore, having 1 L on the team is always helpful. So you're providing quite a bit of value through a weapon assist, and remember, this is a bottom rarity card, which makes it much easier to acquire. So, for myself, do I plan on rolling? And the answer is yes. And I plan to roll reasonably hard in this collab because it has so much value across all the different rarities, but the key is I'm basically setting myself up to be ready for the future transformation meta. I feel like Gung-Ho is going to be pushing the transformation meta because not only is it stronger than what's currently available, so people want to get those cards, but it's going to force players to roll and acquire new cards to build a brand new team. We basically need brand new cards for these setups, and rolling this event will ensure that I have those. And when I do roll this, I plan to actually do so on a special Twitch stream on Friday, probably around 6 p.m. PST or so. So if you are interested in seeing it live, tune in then. But for my dream rolls, Yugi is naturally the 7-star choice. I want to get 3 of him. If I get 1, I'll be so happy. There's a strong likelihood I might monster exchange for him if I actually have fodder. I don't know if I do. I actually have very few 7-star Godfest exclusive / fodder available. But hey, anything can happen with that 2% chance. In terms of the 6-star cards, Dark Magician is my pick because he provides that 7 effective skill boost, and in their weapon assist, it can make a low cooldown card suddenly have 4 more skill boosts, which again helps you transform. Dark Magician is also a sub/inherit, and generally speaking, sub/inherits that facilitate current metas, which is going to be transforming, tend to stay relevant for a longer period of time. And I honestly feel that weapon assist won't necessarily go out of style so long as transformational cards remain. And then finally, for my 5-star dream roll, I want to get a Fortress Dragon because, again, 6 effective skill boosts. So looking at my dream rolls, 5-star should be easy to roll. If I get 2 Fortress Dragons, that 1 Dark Magician, and I give Yugi, I basically have a team built. You can build an entire endgame team of subs and then possibly inherits from just this event, which is something kind of unheard of. And I guess it's something I failed to mention at the beginning because, generally speaking, most of the time when we build teams, we have cards from all over the place. Different events, different collabs, different seasonals, even Godfest exclusives. But here, you could build an entire Yugi team from just this event, which gives you more motivation to roll. So, in conclusion, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Collab is a high-value event because it's going to position players well moving forward for when transformation cards become more prominent and in greater numbers. Things like Dark Magician and Fortress Dragon facilitate this better than many other current options, and the low rarity of Fortress Dragon helps ensure that you should get one within many rolls. Regardless, let me know what you think about this collab in the comments below and whether or not you plan on actually rolling. Regardless, hopefully you all have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.